And we're on.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to tell you the rest of that story, but
Do you
I'll
wanna,
tell you later.
You don't want to say it now?
No.
So we can all hear it?
No.
Why?
Because.
Just why?
Oh, anyway. Oh, no, I'll sound like a fuckhead.
No, please. It's about stand-up, so.
Well, I told you I catastrophized that gig in the suburbs of Berwick where I bombed
Yep.
for like 10 minutes. And then the following night I did this footy club in, starts with M somewhere.
Muralbach.
No, up like past Bandura kind of thing. Oh, gosh, I can't remember. Anyway, I was doing a 20-minute set. And it went so fucking well. And I'm like, okay, that was just me
So you
being
can do
fucked
suburbs.
on that. Yeah. I just like, I don't know, I got in my head. But because you mentioned Husey before, and he was headlining both of those gigs.
Yes.
Back to back. Yeah, that was before lockdown.
Yeah, so just to backpedal, this is Sonia Diorio, everyone. She's a great comedian on the
Hello.
circuit. And we were just talking about how much Dave Hughes loves gigging. He loves the craft because we see him at gigs a lot. And yeah, they're small gigs, some of them, but he's still there and he loves the craft as much as we do. And then you started talking about how you died in a suburb and you thought, oh, I can't do suburban gigs, but then you crushed.
Even though I've done like 100 of them before.
Yeah, you've done heaps before, but that's what we're like.
Oh, do you do that? Do you like, I'm finding it hard, even though I've been doing this for a while. I don't know if it gets easier or harder. For me personally, catastrophize that one gig instead of being like, that was a bad night at the office.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
And I think I beat myself up, but I think that pushes me to re-look at my material and
Absolutely.
assess how I could have done that differently. Maybe
Yeah.
it was the setup, or do you do the same?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And like saying that was bad at that gig, I was unsure of what I was going to do. And then I got up and I was like, it wasn't going well. And I was still, should I do that? I was really in my head. And I was like, this is going bad. And I let it show. Like the audience, I think, knew that I thought it was really shit. And so I don't think that's going to do you any favors and help. But the good thing about stand-up is your next gig is probably the next night or even like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you tell? I've seen. I think it's a good idea to let the crowd know if you're dying, because you're stating the obvious, which it's saying the unsaid. Or
right.
do you try and go, nah, I don't?
I feel like maybe I do, but not in a way that's clear and funny. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, fuck. Rather than...
I've never seen you bomb like that.
Like Krusty the Clown.
Yeah, never seen you bomb like that.
Anyway, yeah.
Tell me about one thing I wanted to ask you, and because I get a lot of young comics watching this. How did you go about performing at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl to such a large number of people? How do you do that in terms of can you respond to a heckler because there's so many thousands out there, or do you just go, look, I've got it? What was your strategy going into it?
Obviously, that's like the biggest gig I've ever done.
How many people were there?
3,000 was the capacity, and we'll do like, I don't know what will ever be bigger than that, but I was that people weren't heckling. They were there for a good time. It was the first time a straight like comedy show, full start to finish, there had been performed there.
Yeah, because normally it's in amongst bands.
Well, yeah, this was the first. We're doing comedy in the bowl, so it was wild, and I was kind of like, I think I saw you beforehand, like the week before, and
saw you the week before.
Probably freaking out about it.
Well, I wished you well, and because I saw you around the circuit honing that routine.
You did, and people generally around were wishing me well, and I was just kind of like going into it. I'm like, fuck, people are so nice and like being really supportive and stuff. So that was so lovely.
Yeah.
And then
we like you.
Oh, thank you. And then, trying my set around town.
Yeah.
But you can't, the closest thing we do to like a big like the biggest crowd we sort of do is at the Comics Lounge,
Yep.
which is on the fullest night 500.
Yep.
So then going up to 3,000, like even though that's the biggest gig around, that's still a massive step above that, and it's outside. And I was on second after Hughesy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I was like, here's Hughesy. Now here's some cunt you never heard of.
So was that back announced, not an MC?
No. It was Tommy Little. It was his show, like Tommy Little and Friends, and he did the introduction, and he actually did it perfectly because he's like, this is a cool show. You get to see someone, you know, big name like Hughesy. Now you get to see a performer who you might not have heard of, but, you know, I think they're really great and up and coming and blah, blah. So it was like a perfect intro.
Yeah.
He didn't say some cunt you never heard of, but...
Were you conscious to when you heard laughter, let the laughter die down, don't step on any...
yes.
Because it was a different beast. I've done a gig like that, and the laughter
huge.
it's slow motion laughter. It goes out, then it goes down, and then you have to jump on.
I think yes and no. I think, I don't know. Probably I went maybe a bit faster than I should have over some laughs, but it's hard because it's hard to tell if the sound. You know what I mean? Like it's outside, it's 3,000, and people who are right up the back, they're really far away from you. So you might not even hear them laughing, or it's delayed So it was very, I don't know.
Who did you mentally play to? The back of the room or the people at the front? Were you making eye contact?
No, I kind of tried to bring everyone in. But you could see because it was about 7:30 when I was on or something like that.
During summer, right? So it's still daylight.
So it was daylight. So I could basically see like all the, you know, front and stuff. So I was kind of like, I don't know, sort of tried to address everyone.
And your sound was all right? It wasn't echoey? Hello,
No,
good to be here,
it was
here,
good.
Here. No,
I've actually got, they filmed it. So there's footage of it
great.
that I'm going to watch back and cringe at.
Do you cringe when you watch yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I even cringe when I listen back to my set.
Yeah, your voice is so hard to listen to, yeah. But going into that gig, like on the day, I was so fucking nervous. And I'm like, I don't know if I can. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Yeah.
So when did the butterflies fuck off? As soon as you
when I started my set,
The first joke?
Yeah.
You started well?
Yeah.
Just autopilot, just get the first joke out, get the laugh.
Yeah.
And then you started being there and enjoying it.
Yeah, because it's like you don't know what's going to happen, and then you do it and it's fine, and it's like, oh, this is actually enjoyable and good. But it's like beforehand. You're always nervous before stage, not on stage. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always get, I don't know how nervous you get, but depending on the gig, I'll get the poos. I have to run around.
How early?
Usually about 5 to 10 minutes before.
Oh, okay, right.
So I'm hoping the MC does a little bit longer when I'm, Only once it happened. Laughs and Lygon, Gavin Semple was bringing me on and I was in the can and I'm like, I can't make it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I had to stay there. I was
that's
literally
very
bogged
funny.
down.
Did you just bring another act on?
He did.
Or were you,
he brought another act on and then I just apologized like hell.
Did you tell them?
Yeah. It's like, it's all right.
That's
I think it's good to get nervous.
Yeah. Before that gig, I was nervous, and I probably started getting nervous about 1 p.m. Because I remember I was like out, I had like brunch and stuff, and then I was like, oh, that's it. I can't eat anything else for the rest of the day. I just like got butterflies and yeah.
Yeah. And so what happened? Do you pace? How do your nerves manifest themselves?
I just kind of, I don't know, try and breathe. I don't know.
Have you ever been that nervous with anything else in your life, or is it just stand-up that's made you so fucking nervous in that moment? Because that is the reason why I fucking love the craft, yeah? Doesn't it make you...
scares you.
What, doesn't it make you feel so alive?
Generally
Don't you feel...
just performing. It's giving me the most nerves. Yeah.
And looking back... Sorry to cut you off, go on.
No. I was just going to say, so I did this podcast last year, early in the year, before we even had our first lockdown, and the premise is that you write 3 minutes of the worst stand-up you can for another comedian. It's called Time to Die, and then they have to perform what you've written at a gig and you have to perform what they've written for you.
Yeah, right.
And before doing that, I was so fucking nervous. And they're like, oh, yeah, cool. You're going to perform your set at Crab Lab, which is it was like a really good gig. I was like, fucking hell, I thought I was going to do this crazy experiment at some open mic kind of thing, not a room that I fucking love. And
so you had to do someone else's material that they had written for you.
Yeah, so the premise was it was with Zach Dyer. So he had to write the worst material for me.
The worst?
It's like...
Jesus.
You can take that whatever way. Like
Okay.
He was kind of like lame jokes and that
I'd
kind
go
of thing.
cheesy.
Yeah, cheesy. It was very
Yeah.
cheesy. For him, I lent into like he's from Townsville and he thinks that's the real Australia, and he was making jokes about having a big dick and that kind of thing. So mine was like it was so brutal, and that night, Crab Lab was like the most packed I'd ever seen it, and I'm like. And then when I was out on stage, it was just like a feeling like it's not like when you're normally on stage. I was like, and then after, you're kind of euphoric a little bit because it's like, this is so bad, but the audience doesn't know. And it's at a good gig. And it's just like, oh man.
You said
euphoric.
euphoric.
Yeah.
Which is what I was trying to say before. That feeling of nervousness is relished the day after. I was like, because it's a feeling of being alive. Like, I love that feeling. I love that buzz.
And I think when we have lockdowns and stuff, like, especially the first big one, it was kind of like, oh, fuck. Like, that first gig back, it's like, oh, I feel good again. I feel happy again. Because it's like, oh, yeah. It gives you fucking all these, like, sensations in your body that you're not having for a long time. It's like, man.
Well, that's why I think I see you as a true comic. I think you love the craft.
Not a fake comic.
Yeah, you're not.
Oh, I don't know.
You know, I've spoken to a comic. I can't mention their name, but they said to me, oh, I just want to do this to get onto TV to be a game show host, and that'll be it. I'll hang it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Specifically a game show host?
Yes.
Like I'll
tell you the name after.
All the shit you can do on TV, they've chosen like the most
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
very funny.
Such a spin-out answer. But
yeah.
So you are, you're like Husey. You just love the craft.
I am like Husey.
Well, he just rocks up. Yeah. You know that wild, crazy eye you get when you're
I
in the
love
suburbs and you're like, this is a crazy gig. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're all going to die, but we love the fact that we're there backstage.
Yeah. And also, like I was saying last night, you go and do like really big gigs, and then afterwards it's like, oh yeah, what open mics are around I can still jump up at. Yeah.
But knock on wood, I haven't seen you do bad. Knock on wood,
I think you have.
We've done a few gigs together. We've done a couple of wineries together, a brewery.
Yeah, interesting.
And, they're not conducive to stand-up. It's echoey halls. There's a lot of these variables.
Good. Makes you work hard.
I think so.
Yeah, the more different experiences you have in different kind of, what are they? Different events, rooms? I don't know.
Setups.
Ideally, you want stuff to be conducive to stand up, but I did that gig during the festival that was in the bike studio, spinning studio in
class?
Richmond. Yeah.
You did a gig at a spin class?
Yeah,
while
man.
People were spinning?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. When they laugh, do they cycle faster?
Yeah, they go slower so they can laugh. Yeah.
Oh, they can laugh. That's good.
No, it was wild, but it was good. It was like an experiment. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't know what it's going to be like. And it was fucking fun.
Really?
Because the person who ran it, Mary Ellen, she is a spin instructor, but then she also hosted the thing and did spinning, and they had songs where they'd, do the spinning, and then they're like, okay, now we're going to have a comedian. So they'd bring the light up on the stage where the bike was, dim the lights, dim the music, and it was just it was a good setting, and it was wild because I'm like, hang on, how can this spin studio be set up in a better way than a lot of fucking open mics at pubs and shit?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
You
totally.
go to some places and you're like, there's no spotlight or something.
No.
I'm like, how can they nail it in a spinning studio?
Exactly. Because a lot of comics that run open mics are just fucking incompetent. They've got so much ineptitude, they've got no idea.
Whoa. Under your words, not mine.
Yeah, my words. Well, I've been going for 19 years. I've been in rooms where I'm like, how the fuck is this a gig?
Yeah.
So why a gig in a spin class? I think a lot about things, and I'm thinking, was it so the instructor could
no, I think it's
lift their endorphins while they were like?
I don't know. I think
weird.
so. It's this woman, Mary Ellen, who is from Sydney. She's moved down here and put it on as like an experiment. She's a spin instructor, and like she put it on as like an experimental comedy event. I don't know, marrying her two worlds together, and it
Is she
was
an
fun.
act herself? Is she a performer herself?
Yeah.
She loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, lucky she wasn't an undertaker. That'd be fucking weird.
Funeral.
Before we cremate this man,
I
Sonia
have
Diorio.
heard. No, I've heard of people having stand up at funerals.
It depends what age you pass. Because I had this discussion.
Okay.
If I'm 80, have a stand-up festival around my cremation. Like,
If
bring
you
it on.
die tomorrow,
If I died
No.
tomorrow, nah. Because,
show a bit of respect.
it just wouldn't work. It'll be like...
It wouldn't work. People would be too sad.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucked?
Well,
If you, they're not. People aren't sad about 80-year-olds.
No, it's a good
90-year-olds.
innings. It's time to give the bat
80?
to someone else.
Oh, 80's not super old, but yeah, it's getting up there.
It's
I
getting
don't
up.
know.
Have you thought about it?
What,
How-
dying every
high you
day?
How high you want to make
I
it?
don't know, but my Nonna's most recent person to pass away in our family, she was 96.
Well done, Nonna. That's a
Yeah.
testament to the Mediterranean diet. Go, Nonna.
Yeah, and
Well,
wine.
she's Italian.
She
background.
Hello.
Hello.
No, she didn't have a drop of water ever. She only drank wine and soft drink. No water at all.
Is Nonna a koala? Because koalas are
She was a koala.
koalas.
It's
don't
weird
drink
for
water.
Italians to be koalas. It's wild, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
96.
know.
Is this your dad's mum?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very good.
It's
That's
a long
amazing.
life. Yeah.
I would be happy at 80. Anything
80.
after 80, go for it.
Yeah. Look, she was saying that she wanted to die for at least 5 years.
How are you,
Minimum.
Nonna? I want to die.
No shit.
Really?
Well, there's exaggerated. Sopranos. Are you a fan?
Very big fan.
Big
and I'm
fan.
also a wog, so I know the wogs, what they're like.
So, yeah,
I want to die. It's
Tony
just,
Soprano's mother,
Yep.
she was like my nonna on steroids.
Wow.
Like, she was very dramatic, the way they talk and stuff. My parents, cause we grew up in the country in Gippsland, Morwell, and all the grandparents and us, we all lived on the same street. And then maybe 15 years ago or so more, my parents moved to one town over to Relgan, which is about 10-15 minute drive. My nonna, you're abandoning me. I can't believe it. You're leaving me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
the
very
guilt
dramatic.
trip. They got to give
Yeah.
you the guilt trip.
And that's literally what Tony Soprano's mum says when
Yeah.
they take her to the nursing home. You're abandoning me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
wild.
How is do you get guilt tripped by your parents?
No.
Or are your parents were your parents born here? Or did they come across
No.
here very young?
My dad came here when he was 13,
Okay.
but my mum was 19 and married when she came here. So
Okay.
very different experience.
Different experiences, yeah.
Mm.
So mine came across here when they were, well, I consider them to be great because my mum guilt trips me very bad. She's like, I'm going to die and you're not going to give me a grandchild.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, like straight
That
into
is
it.
so brutal.
It's brutal.
But do you want to have
No tact.
kids?
If it happens, it happens. You know what I
Oh,
mean? You can't go out
yeah.
searching for that. You can't put on your Tinder profile, looking for kids. It's just, I believe it has to happen organically.
Yeah.
I can't go out and push the envelope. Does that make sense? Like, I can't go out hunting for
For
a
children.
childbearing woman. Like, I'm just sort of, I don't know why. I'm just sort of, I'm very chilled, and I like my life at the moment as well.
Yeah, you're not like, this is
Very
something I
comfortable.
have to do in
Yeah.
my life. But they're like, you have to give us a
Yeah.
grandchild.
Yeah, and you don't get that.
Not really. Like, I feel like they would like grandchildren, but I also feel like it's also like kind of unfortunate for them that they've got 3 children who have no interest in having children or getting married.
All 3 have struck out.
Yeah.
Like, nah. Yeah.
I'm not interested in getting married at all or having children.
Yeah. It just frees you up.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily about that. Like, if people who have kids, like, also do a lot of stuff, and, like, you can make your life work with children, you know, you can still do, like, so much stuff. But I just don't, I don't desire that. I don't think that's fair for a child. Like, I don't have an instinct to raise a child. I mean, instinct's the wrong thing. What is it?
Maternal instinct? I don't know. That's what I was.
I actually just don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about having a kid.
that's the right scientific approach.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's the right attitude. If you're not going to have it.
Well, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What's your? I ask this a lot of people that come on. With your, where do you want to take your stand up? Like, do you have like an end game? For me personally, I always think I'd love to have like a couple of hours or 3 hours that I'm really happy with, and it's on video. It's
like filmed, yeah.
Filmed.
I'm just doing this to be a TV show game host. Yeah, that's it. That's my end goal. No, I think that's great. I would also love, a couple of like, special. I'm like, you know, I think, on the same length of loving the live performance and the stand up, and for me, like, that person sounds like they want to do stand up to facilitate their TV stuff. Whereas if I got TV opportunities, I'd want that to facilitate my stand up, because then that gives you a bigger live crowd. So I can't imagine stopping it ever. But I'd like to grow an audience and be able to do like, a big run at a festival.
Yeah. Are you happy? Are you happy most times on stage, like in the moment?
Yes.
Do you feel like,
except when I'm bombing in Berwick.
Yeah, apart from Berwick, which all comics know about, by the way. So apart from Berwick, you feel most times like you're connected, you're in the moment, you're on.
Oh, it depends on the night. You know, sometimes you do like fuck ton of gigs and you're just like, oh man, I was not feeling that. I was not connected to the audience and stuff. But I generally love being on stage, love performing, happy to do it. Yeah.
Sometimes I walk away going, oh, fuck, I hate that joke. Do you get that as well? Because then that starts pushing you to drop that joke.
Afterwards.
Change
it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Or like, oh, that was a shit set. Or like, hone on, like, focus on like a couple of jokes that didn't work, as opposed to, even if you have a good set, there's a couple things that's like, oh, they fell flat. That was a shit set. It's like, hang on. Get a bit of context to this.
Yeah.
It's like...
We gigged together with Jamoan, and your dad was in the crowd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you hold back that night, or did you just do your set? I think you did what you did.
My set, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did that play in your mind at all?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, because if my mum came and saw me, I'd be like, holy fuck, I can't do 95%.
Have your parents seen you?
No.
Oh, never.
Never. I can't.
That's wild.
It's crazy, but for me, getting my dad out of the house is like a Seinfeld episode. Where are the toilets? How close are they?
Yes.
What's going to happen if I piss
God.
myself? I've never embarrassed myself. I don't want to embarrass myself
Does
now.
he have an incontinence problem?
No, he's had a stroke, and he thinks if he takes a step outside the house, he's going to drop dead.
I feel for him. Okay, so
the toilets will be occupied.
He's got a bit of trauma from the stroke.
Yeah, and he's shitting it.
Sucks. But I mean, like, my dad hasn't had a stroke, but he's still like... every different venue change, he has to go to the toilet.
Yeah, right.
Like, no matter where.
But Dad's relatively young, though. My
He's
dad's 78. How old? Your dad wouldn't have been.
71.
Oh, your dad's 71.
He looks quite young.
Fuck
well,
yeah.
he feels quite. He like
no, I would have
has
put
a
him
young
60.
vibe.
60.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. I feel like I've got that vibe too. I've inherited that. I hope because sometimes people think that I'm still in my 20s.
Well, yeah, it's a great joke
But
you do.
yes,
A very good bit.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I would say late 20s. You could pull off late 20s.
Yeah. I hope so because I just did an audition for a 28-year-old
ya?
star. So
Great.
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but it's shit. Like that was a great gig. It was like a pub.
In Kensington.
And like my parents just happened to be visiting, and Dad's like, "Oh, you're going to do a gig? Oh, Jamal, I'd love to see Jamal." And like I'm so torn because I'm like, I just want to go and do my set, my job, and try and do a good job and enjoy the gig, and
Yeah.
But then I'm like, of course I don't want to fucking deny you. You love going and see live shit. You live in the country, like. That would be a nice thing if you came, but also it's like I can't just go there and feel normal about it as I would with any other gig. It's like, oh, and Dad's here, so that's in my mind a bit the whole time. Yeah.
So did you edit as you were going,
I
or
think
did
I
you
did.
just say you?
No. I did a set that I would regularly do. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah, because
I'm very brave.
Well, it's great that you don't hold back. Fuck it.
I mean, I have before, like at other gigs where my dad's been and stuff. But that night, I was just like, "You're. This is what I had planned. You're coming into my territory.
Yeah.
You can deal with it. You know."
What about because for those who don't know, it's like someone coming to your work, looking over your shoulder, and just watching what you do.
It depends what relationship you have with your parents. A lot of my jokes are rude or about sex and dating and stuff, and my parents don't know anything about that of my life because they're old school Catholics and they're very traditional, and like Mum doesn't even want to meet like any of our partners because she's like last time my sister broke up with her boyfriend, and Mum's like, oh, you can't just break up with someone and then, you have another relationship with a different person. And we've met this person. It's like, it's not a way to live your life.
Yeah, that's my mum.
Right?
My mum's like, I don't want to meet a girl unless you're like serious with her.
Yeah, that's wild. And my mum's only 59. So to have that attitude... despite her age,
that's Nonna's
just because of how she grew
her
up,
upbringing, yeah.
And like mum grew up married at 19, and to my dad, and like just stayed with him. So of course, like her experience is just like marrying the first random idiot.
Well, yeah, I don't mean to pry, but was it a proxy marriage?
No, it wasn't proxy.
Because my parents, it wasn't a proxy, but it was a herded proxy.
Well,
it was like we're hosting a dance in Port Melbourne, and you're all encouraged to pair up.
Oh, okay.
So they paired up.
And how long after did they get married?
A month or 2 months.
Yeah. My parents
registry.
got married after 3 months.
Yeah, they didn't fuck around back then.
Yeah, well, my dad was living here, because he moved here when he was 13, and he went back home, was traveling, was in his hometown.
In Italy?
In Italy, which is very small.
Where are you from in Italy?
The town is called Spinete, and the region is Molise, which is the least famous region in Italy you've probably never heard of.
I've never heard of it.
No.
Are you Calabrese?
No, so it's underneath Abruzzo,
yep.
which they used to be the same region, and then they split up.
Right. There's a very famous Abruzzo club around the corner.
Yes.
Lots of
right?
pokey machines.
Awesome.
Lots of Italians.
Yes.
Lots of fun.
But there's a running joke in Italy, Molise doesn't exist because people it's not. Yeah, anyone outside of Italy hasn't really heard of it. People don't really go there yet. It's beautiful. It's like mountains and country villages, little villages.
All of Italy is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, the north is next level gorgeous.
It's wild. But anyway, their town's there's probably 1,500 people who live there. There's
Right. So your dad goes
now.
back at 19.
Dad? No, he was
No?
30, 31. Like he was
All right,
31, and Mum was 19. So they're 12 years apart.
Wow. So he's holidaying in his home
He's
village.
holidaying all around, and then
And he goes, "Hey, you want a ticket out of here?"
well, essentially. But he saw her picture. Someone was showing them a wedding album of their wedding. And he's like, "Oh, who's that? Like, she looks nice. I'd like to meet her." And then they met, and 3 months later they were married. My grandparents who were living here went over, and yeah, they got married in the church there. And then Mum just like left her parents and her town and everything and went to the other side of the world.
Yeah, that's what they did back then.
Right?
It's nuts.
And she was 19, man. I can't imagine.
Yeah, my mum came over here about the same time, about 19, lived in Port Melbourne, didn't know English, and worked in making cutlery with molten steel.
Whoa.
It's fucking intense, next level.
That's so intense.
They were so resilient.
The manual labor is what Italians and Greeks kind of were brought over for,
Yeah.
and what most of them did. My nonna, she did field work in Italy.
Yeah.
And then when she came here, she
field work?
worked in the fields.
Okay,
fields,
yeah. Farming, right.
Which was fucking hard work. And then came over here and she did picking potatoes and stuff, like real physical jobs.
Yeah, right. Because Gippy was there was a lot of Italians that settled in Morwell.
Yeah.
You guys had a really famous soccer club when I was growing up as a kid.
There's
from Morwell.
Fortuna. There's a few.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of Italians.
Yeah.
So your family farmed when they came to Morwell?
No.
No?
In Italy, my mum's
Italy they farmed.
Yeah. Well, they're from a farming like kind of village, but then in Australia did various shit, but it's all like nothing academic, nothing to do with schooling and stuff. Dad said he did year 12 here, but he's like, I mostly didn't go to school that year. I was cherry picking or working and stuff, and like parents didn't care because it's like, yeah, that's better. You're going and working and earning money, like So that was the mindset, as opposed to other migrant groups who are more like focused academically and stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever done a thought experiment where you think, sometimes I think to myself, what if World War II never happened and my parents didn't need to leave Greece because they had money? What would have become of me?
Yeah, I've thought about that.
I think I would be working in a bar in Athens,
born and raised there,
but still do. I'd find a way to do stand up. I think because I'm a smart ass. I like to say, quick remark.
Yeah, what kind of comedy do they have in Greece?
At the moment, stand up is.
Do they do more like sketch?
No.
No?
It's there's always been sketch comedy in Greece, vaudevillian in nature.
Yeah.
But now there's this emerging trend in stand up which is very Bill Hicks and that stream of
Greece.
Lenny Bruce. Yeah, it's starting. Well, it's been going for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was living in London, clubs were opening up in Athens, but I couldn't I'd need a translator.
It needs to be very advanced. That's like when
Yeah.
I went to Italy and I was looking around at stuff and I'm like, oh, yeah, you need to be really advanced because there's some like stand-up starting there. But then I found this English comedy club in Rome and I did a gig there.
You did it?
Yeah,
Bullshit.
in like 2016. Yeah, it was very cool.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was fucking fun. It was very Italian. It was like, oh, we'll kick off at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Yeah. Before the show, there's like all this food and antipasto and stuff on the bar. So everyone's like going and getting a plate of food and all that sort of stuff. And then the show kicks off and it's like, a whole, full room of like, expats from the UK, Australia, US, and then all just a bunch of, Italian people in Rome who speak English because their English is very good. Yeah. So it was really fun. Yeah.
So you enjoyed it. It was a great experience.
Yeah. And that was another one where, going into it, you're like, fuck, what the hell is this going to be? I'm doing a gig in Rome. Like,
I'm going to guess that you got you did very well, and the crowd were very warm and loving.
They were a good crowd. Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I noticed
Well,
when my agent started sending me to Romania, Egypt,
wow, 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 wow. Yeah,
Iceland, I
yeah,
was shitting myself. I'm like,
yeah,
why am I going to Romania? And he's like, don't worry, just do your
yeah,
material, you'll be fine.
yeah,
And I get there, and it's an expat bar,
yeah.
and it's full of expats, and they were so grateful to have English
Yes.
speaking comedy that they just loved everything,
Yeah, such a
and it made me
unique
relax.
experience.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then I started, so which takes me to my next point. I did gigs in the Gold Coast recently,
Yeah.
and I found that they were so fucking lovely.
Yeah, cool.
Really, like they were, you know, when they laugh at the setup,
Yeah, right.
and you're like, this is
Oh, so
awesome.
were they just really fucking pissed?
Yeah.
Everything.
And then I was like,
it's
is Melbourne a hard? Do we have hard crowds?
maybe. I mean, I guess it's kind of like I think we do have some really great crowds here, but
I think our
it
crowds are
depends on the
amazing, but I
night.
think they're tough.
But also, like, you know, Melbourne, you can see comedy any night of the week. You can see live music, you can see theatre. Well, this is outside of lockdown. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of entertainment opportunities. So it's like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, prove to us that we're spending our night wisely. Like this is our choice. There's a lot of options.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
answered my next question. Because I was
yeah.
going to say, why do you think, in your opinion, crowds are tougher? Because
maybe
you have to earn it.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I thought. I thought
Yeah.
they're spoilt for choice. There's a lot of entertainment that they're exposed to.
And
they
it's
want
not
you to work for it.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing because that's essentially like
No.
the bigger sort of the scene, the better you get because
Exactly.
you've really got to kind
I'd
of
rather
good.
be in this circuit that's
yeah,
tough
yeah,
than have
yeah.
a circuit where people are laughing at your setups.
Yeah, right.
you think I'm ready for Netflix. You're like, no, you're not. You are fucking not.
That's great.
You know? So,
yeah.
so yeah. So, Big Eyes, Big Pussy, how did you go?
Yeah. Oh, it was fun.
How long did you
It was
do?
a solo show, 50-minute show.
How did the 50 minutes feel? Because that's where real stand-up is.
Look, talking about good crowds.
You had a good crowd, I'm guessing, or were they tough?
No,
because you did it at Comedy.
Comedy Republic.
Yeah, that fucking photo on your was gorgeous. That was so
Thanks. It was like
intimate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was the upstairs room, and I was stressed out about selling tickets and stuff, and then. Like, because I'd sold a bit, but then the 2 days beforehand, it was just like, yeah, everyone's buying. And it was
that's
like,
great.
I think I sold, the capacity is maybe 120 something, sold like 113 tickets, had a few comps in. So it was like a big, if I'm doing a solo show at a festival, I'm doing like 40 people or 30, 40, low crowds. So it was cool to do like a 50-minute show to over 100 people. And I walked out and they were excited. They were ready for a great night. And it worked. It went really well. And
Great.
yeah.
Can you give me a sense of your tempo? What the tempo, just for comics that watch, what 50?
I don't know.
Basically, this is my formula. Go out hard for the first 10 to 12, 15 minutes.
Yes.
Then you have to hit a sort of low energy state and sort of ride that and then come home strong again.
Yeah.
You have to have a
essentially.
dip. Unless you're fucking, I don't know, like just an amazing, like Kevin Hart or something that can just hit him with bullets for an hour. But that is so hard to maintain.
It's so hard to do. I mean, like, I was very spoiled. I think it went pretty well, and there was probably just a couple of points where I'm like, okay, gonna do this show again, taking these out or reworking them, getting stronger. And now it went really well, but I'm still like, I want to put more quicker jokes in, and like it's a lot of stuff that I've been working on the last couple of years, and then it's also stuff that I've really old stuff that I've like collection of what I think is sort of my best kind of jokes at the moment, like the best sort of 50 minutes that I can do. So yeah, rather than thinking, because I might do that as a one-off second half of the year, and then for comedy festival next year, because I'm not rushing to be like, oh, I've got to write a new show or got to come up with heaps of different material or something, because I'm like, oh, that was really cool. Like the audience really loved it. It was probably like half people I knew in the audience, half random strangers. And I'm like, well, I think it's a good product, and I'm not in a rush to get rid of it so quickly.
Yeah.
Especially because of all the performing we've missed out in the last couple of years. I want to sort of, have this as a showcase of me at the moment, bring it to a festival, and then move on after that. Yeah.
Do you map out your set list for 50 minutes?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you map it out.
Yeah. And I did 2 trial shows beforehand.
Yeah.
Like this one. And then I mapped it out, and and I knew sort of the order and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And so you map it out, you get confidence in it, and then you start workshopping it, doing it. Do you have self-belief in it every single day, or does doubt come into your mind?
Are you talking about my show or the just random sets?
I guess,
my show?
Yeah.
No.
Your show or random, both, I guess. I guess what I'm trying to ascertain is, for me personally, I have days where I have belief in my material, and then other days where I lack that self-belief.
100%.
And then I have to try and motivate myself out of that disbelief.
Oh,
put myself into a belief state.
It's so hard.
How do you do that? How do you kick yourself in the bum?
I don't know.
If you don't know, then you just keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See, that's that perpetual motion, never stop gigging.
Yeah, I remember I had a really bad, like the worst time I've had at a festival probably was in Perth. I did a solo show, which I'd done in Melbourne, and I did like 3 nights. I probably had like 10 people a night, maybe a bit more, a bit less, and just like kind of ate it for like the whole 3 shows.
Fuck.
For 50 minutes, and I was like,
that can really kick you.
Devo.
Yeah.
The gigs that I was doing around town in Perth were great, but there was just like immediately I just couldn't get that connection of like doing a show it was wild, and so it was like, fuck, I was really low about thinking about, in stand up, and then I just, came back to Melbourne and just kept doing heaps of gigs, because it's kind of like that gives you you're either gonna pull back and be afraid of it, or just like keep going, and then that's when you get better. It's like playing, if anyone's like played an instrument. I remember when I was learning the guitar, and like you're trying to learn a song and you're like, this is so hard, I will never be able to do it. And then if you just keep practicing and then you learn it, because you've gotten over that bump, that's made you better, that's like improved you. Because like, and that's why like it takes like so long to just keep getting better and better at stand up. That's why it's so hard for people to stick with and keep doing.
I think it's can you just jump back more?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Right. I call it the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Right.
The most difficult pursuit. Are you the same? Is it the hardest thing you've ever done in your life?
I don't know. I mean, I guess in terms of, I don't know.
Because there are days where I can nail a set, and then the next night I can't quite nail it. And then obviously, the problem is when you try and replicate an evening's performance, you're in big trouble, because you lock yourself into a certain type of character on stage and you're fucked. You can't repeat the night before. Every crowd's different. So.
Yeah.
But I think it's the hardest thing I've ever done, because it's very difficult to consistently smash and grow and write, because I don't know what you're like, but my creativity is in waves. I have peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
I'll peak and I'll write a whole heap of stuff and I'll workshop it. And
I'm the worst writer. I don't write anything. I just think of shit and then I like, oh, this is a funny idea and try it. I'm so bad at like writing.
All right, well, let's talk about this,
not how I
because
work.
I'm very interested in how people go about writing.
Yeah. I don't do it.
I've talked about it a lot on my pod, but I want to know how you write. You say you don't write, but you must have a process. What's that process?
Yeah,
Do you jot it down on a Post-it note or
sometimes
on your phone?
If it's like a particularly long thing, but I'll usually come up with the idea and think, because a lot of my jokes are like quite short and stuff. So I'll just like, then try it on stage, and then if it's good, I'll keep working on it. But I don't really sit at my computer and like write stuff. I've kind of done that in the past, and it's just never.
I don't.
Just never gels. Like, I don't know.
I'm the same. It doesn't gel. It doesn't work. Maybe if I've got a point I want to make, I will sit at a keyboard and write.
See, I never have any point.
Right.
I never have any good points.
But you said something before. You write short.
You
like to get to a punchline within 30 seconds, right? Otherwise, you feel lost.
Yeah, I do, and that's not. I'm not saying that's what my material's like. Like, I have a lot of shit where I'm just like, fuck, man, I'm just talking here. But yeah, definitely, yeah. But also, like, I'm better at writing like short things, and then sometimes people are like, oh, that's got like you can explore that a bit more. So I'm kind of bad at like developing things into a longer bit, which is something that is I've identified and could get better at. So yeah.
Do you want to though, or are you happy writing short and sharp and moving on?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you don't want to delve too deep into something. Maybe you are enjoying where you are, like just smashing bits out and going for it. Like making it seem like stream of consciousness. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you want? Like,
what do I want? I've never thought of that.
I don't know. What do you
before.
want?
Yeah.
Are you like maybe you just don't want to?
It's so wild because like I see people and they'll do like this big long bit. It's like really funny, like big long story, and I'm like, oh, I don't do that. That's what I should do. And it's like, oh, hang on, why? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, why?
You've made me discover that.
Yeah, because I'm the
Maybe
same.
I'm not good at that. Yeah.
I'm like, why do I want to do that? And I'm like, don't do that because that's not you, Johnny. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just do you. Just do you what feels natural.
Yeah.
But I will like if I've got I've got this bit I wrote about mushrooms. I felt like I had to write that on a keyboard.
Yes.
Because I just felt like I've got to prove to the non-believers why taking mushrooms a couple of times a year is better than getting pissed all the time.
It's a complex idea. It's not like
and then I'll write the joke on stage.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's like an idea that everyone is already on board with, easily understands, then you probably don't need to sit down and write. But yeah, for that, it's like, how do I get people on board with that?
Have you
got
bits that have you got jokes that sounded completely different or slightly different like a year ago, and now when you listen back you're like, oh wow, that joke has changed.
Always. I'm like,
isn't that great?
Oh my god, it's so shit. Why was I saying all this terrible, why was I doing the joke like that? All these extra words, and it's just like, oh.
So do you listen back to sets all the
I
time?
I don't tape my sets.
You don't tape your set?
No.
Yeah, see, I was told, fucking someone scared the shit out of me. They said, if you're not listening back to your set, at least on audio. You don't know
why you fucked up.
Yeah, you are in big trouble.
Whoa.
And it scared me, so now I record and I listen back.
Do you think it's helped?
It has helped because...
Now I'm scared.
I bash myself though for like when I listen back to the 10-minute set and I'm like, you idiot. You sound like a fuckhead. Why are you saying that?
Oh my god.
Especially the excessive
So it's
swearing.
helped your comedy, but it's really bad for your self-esteem.
Oh, yeah. Brutal. It'll destroy your self-esteem.
Yeah.
But it
So like you got to also, if you're going to listen back, you've got to also book into therapy. Right?
Well, yeah.
You've got to do both.
But I treat the crowd as therapy.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I also take a stance where I think every time I open my mouth on stage, I think I've workshopped this idea in my head. I think I'm correct. Like,
right.
I do believe that mushrooms are better than alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, so I stand by that and I'll argue that point.
Yeah.
But I beat myself up for the way I express myself, for the way I use too many swear words because I'm nervous and I don't know what comes next. So I throw in a fucking, And I hate that about myself.
If my set's not going well, I'll swear more because like you throw it in
I
near a
do
punch
too.
like yeah.
And I pick that up.
But it's like a reflex.
Mm.
Oh man.
So I'm trying to train myself to stop that because it was just too wild. The swearing was like crazy.
You're just like fuck you, fuck all you cunts, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, C bombing as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind the C word here and there,
I've got one joke where I say the C word. Generally people are fine with, but I guess it depends. It depends where you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, most crowds are, yeah, we know what you're trying to do, and that was done well. Or you're just saying it because you want to say it. That's gross.
Yeah, right.
That's when it's gross.
Yeah.
So you don't listen back much.
Well, yeah, I don't record, and it's so ridiculous because when I'm always like, oh fuck, I should have recorded it. Like when I do like try at an open mic because you're trying new material, and so it's like, how are you going to remember if you like improvise a line or like yeah.
All right, Sonia. So this is what I want to know. Like you wake up in the morning. You think of something funny in the shower.
Don't have to wake up in the morning. I won't. The later, the better.
Really?
Yeah, I hate getting up in the morning.
Oh fuck! I am such a I'm in the pool.
Really?
What
time?
7:30. I'm in Brunswick
A.M.
outdoor pool. A.M. I fucking love it,
At the
man.
Brunswick baths.
Yeah.
I gotta get there. It's heated, isn't it?
It's heated.
I've gotta go.
But it's so cold before you get in.
I will not go at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I go at 7:30. I fucking love it. So I'm a very morning person.
But then you do gigs at night.
Yes.
You must have a lot of energy.
That's all right. You go to bed at 11:30. You wake up at like 6:37. That's enough. It's enough.
Nah.
For me, it's enough.
I can't sleep at 11:30.
No. What time do you go to bed about?
It's random. Different every night. But I'm always, I don't know, 1 midnight. Yeah.
You see, I'm very I like routine.
It's your circadian rhythm.
It is.
I don't like routine. I like all my weeks are always different and my days, and I like that. But anyway, I don't like getting up in the morning, but I do because I've got to do my life. What were you saying about thinking in the shower?
Yeah, like for example, if I think of something funny during the day, I'll quickly run, get my phone, and send myself a text message.
I'll just write it into my notes.
You write into your notes?
Yeah,
okay.
in the phone. There's
in the phone?
You don't need to send yourself a message, Johnny.
I send myself a text. Only because I'm scared that it's going to go away.
Go away.
Notes.
No, I just...
I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
The government's just hacking our notes and deleting everything because they don't want free thought in our iPhones.
I don't know why I do that, but I feel like if I send myself a text
there.
at 6 p.m.,
Permanent.
it'll be there before the gig, and I can deal with it. So I'll write it down, and then I'll take it up on. I'll talk to myself throughout the day. Like I work part-time in a pub. So while I'm pouring beers, I'll chat to customers. I may inadvertently bring up the joke in a roundabout way.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
With customers?
With customers.
That's hilarious.
To see what they're
testing it out.
Testing it out.
Oh,
and then by the evening, I'll have some sort of structure in my head only of how it should go. And then I get up on stage and I do it.
Yeah. I do that, like saying I don't sit down at a thing and write. I will talk through it. Talk through.
You talk through, yeah.
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 Rather than
That's how it. So you.
I don't practice on customers though.
No, you do write.
Yeah. It's
so
just,
that's your writing process is verbalizing.
Yeah, verbalizing.
You talk it out loud. You say it over and over. Have you gone so far as to put a phone piece in while you're shopping? Talk to yourself down the aisle.
A phone.
Like earphone,
to pretend
pretend you're talking. Sometimes I do that.
No, I just talk random places, and people are like, the fuck's she talking
do you
about?
really?
Yeah,
you don't give a fuck.
No.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I'm very conscious of what people would think. This madman is talking to himself.
No, I do it. I just You
don't care.
No. Well, I just kind of do it. I get caught up in the moment.
Wow.
If I think
that's ballsy.
Well, as I said before, I'm very brave and courageous. Yeah,
you are.
I'm not. I'm actually a very scared person.
Of?
Everything. I was raised Catholic. I'm so terrified. It's
really?
amazing. It's pretty wild that I do stand up, considering what a scaredy cat I am. And I don't think it's served me well in stand up. I mean, like, in terms of, like, on stage I'm fine, but in terms of, like, you know, asking for things or, like, yeah, I'm just afraid of, yeah.
But you lead that fear has not, if you're
It's
afraid
not crippling.
of, it's not crippling. You don't
It
lead
doesn't
an
stop me
inactive
from-
life by any stretch
No,
of the
no, no,
imagination.
no,
You're
no.
out there doing stand-up. You're having relationships. You're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
But there is this underlying, I'm fearful.
Yeah.
Does that fear come onto your stagecraft as you're performing? Do you feel
It's
you're
mostly
taking...
before or after, yeah.
As long as on stage you're taking risks.
Yeah, but I think I have been afraid or nervous on stage, and that's just never going to be a good gig. You know, if the audience is like, this person's nervous or afraid.
Yeah,
like I was saying with that Beric thing. It's like,
that.
as soon as it makes you show that you're not having a good time.
They see it.
Yeah.
And they come after you like a drop of blood.
Yes, and I can never go to Berwick again.
You haven't blacklisted Berwick.
They've blacklisted me.
Evan books Berwick.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
going to
yes,
get you
yes,
back.
yes.
I'm going to tell him. Get her back to headline.
Please don't. I don't want to go back there.
You'll be doing Berwick soon. I'm going to ask him to book you up.
Morty Alec, I think that was the other one. Is that a place?
Did we do that gig together?
No, I'm saying I went there the next night for the Redemption gig.
No, I don't know.
Anyway, there's so many suburbs.
There are a lot of suburbs.
And you don't realise until you do gigs in all these wild places.
Yeah, we have gigged in... I've done some wild places. Very strange places. Iceland was the coolest.
That's
Egypt
incredible.
was the weirdest.
Really?
Well, I did a gig in Egypt, Sharm el Sheikh, which was a resort for British backpackers.
Yeah.
And a lady had just been eaten by a shark in the Red Sea.
Hold up.
Days before. Because the resort was on the coast of the Red Sea.
Oh my God.
So a lady had just been eaten by a shark. So we
Who was at the resort?
Yeah.
Was staying at the resort?
Yeah, so we flew in. So as soon as we flew in, they took us into a room and they go, no shark eating material. So I'm like, I've got no Jaws jokes. They go, good. No shark jokes. And
could you mention the Red Sea?
No, nothing.
No,
like
nothing.
fucking nothing. And no jokes.
Don't mention the ocean.
Yeah, no extremist Muslim jokes because the people working at the resort were locals and found it offensive. And it was a weird gig because
I'm glad they didn't cut down too much of your material, right?
Yes, yeah. What about you? Have you done weird gigs like with a setup or like what the fuck am I doing?
No, I think doing a gig in a spin studio is totally normal.
Yeah, that's the weird one.
Weird. That wasn't even probably the wildest. Like, there's some other ones. Oh God, well, I'm just trying to think. Yeah. I mean, not anything near the Red Sea.
What about bombing? When you bomb, do you
cry? Yes.
No, you don't.
I don't really.
I don't think you'd cry. No. I reckon you're a lot. You're very, very strong. I reckon you're strong-willed. Like stand-ups, we get kicked in the guts a lot.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, the hardest thing is like keeping on going. There's so many people who start and like are funny or work hard and like become really talented and stuff, and it's like, well, the only difference between them and me is like they stopped doing it, and if they continued, they would have been great. But it's hard to fucking keep going, especially if you've got like a family or like I don't know, a different situation. Like,
I will never stop gigging. I don't think so until I lose all cohesive confidence.
Well, you're talking about being 80 before.
Sentences.
I'd love to perform when I'm 80. Imagine that.
I will, definitely.
It'd be so fucking good.
If I can do it, I will.
Yeah.
Just depends if there's access, like a lift and that, because I don't think I'll be able to do stairs. My back's already hurting.
Have you not seen 80? Like, it's not actually that old.
Not that old?
I mean, like, it's old, but, you know, people walk when they're 80. People move around. Yeah.
Okay. Only because there's someone at the pub who's 80 who wants to sell his apartment to me. Like, I haven't got any money, but he's like, buy my apartment. It's on the second level. I can't do stairs anymore.
Right. Yeah, I mean, stairs are pretty tricky.
Is that going to happen to me?
Yeah.
What am I in for?
what were you saying before about something? It was like weird gigs, something, keeping on going in stand up. I don't know. I feel like you're about to ask something. I can't
I
remember.
forgot.
Oh.
I got hung up on what you said about you're a very fearful person. And
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
see that. I know I
Yeah,
don't know
I
you well
hide
enough,
it.
but I
I
don't.
hide it.
I
I
don't see
repress all
that.
that. You know, I have. Oh, I shouldn't really bring this up.
What's your
I
biggest
have.
fear?
Probably. I don't know. What do people fear? Failure, spiders. Um, Getting eaten by a shark in the Red Sea. I'm constantly afraid of that. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, but I was gonna say something about. Oh my gosh, I can't
You
remember.
lost your thought?
Yeah,
That's all right.
yeah.
My biggest fear, I think, is you ever met a comic
Yes.
that still does open mic and hasn't progressed? That scares me the most.
I mean,
Like
kind
that's
of.
what I keep I don't want to stop working because I'm afraid of I'm afraid I'm not going to grow. I'm afraid that next year and the year after,
You're not going to be better than you are now.
Yeah,
Which
so-
is sort of inevitable that you're going to get better if you,
which means I fear the
If you keep
creative
working.
process.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to come out of it.
I guess that's similar. Like I fear, I fear not getting better and improving at stand up. But I think if you have self awareness and keep doing it, like you're just naturally gonna. Yeah, if people aren't getting better, first of all, it takes fucking a long time. But also,
How long have you been going? I forgot to ask you that. Are you 6 years in stand up?
no, 11 years
Oh, 11. Yeah.
or more.
Or more.
But
I'm 19.
that's a long time. But the first couple of years, I didn't really do that many gigs. I maybe did one gig a month or something for my first year or something.
Was
So
your first gig... Sorry, go on.
then I just kept on doing more and more each year.
Was your first gig in Melbourne?
Yeah, it was raw comedy. It was
Raw?
so bad. It was like, but the good thing is I knew it was bad. I'm
Okay.
like, that was so bad.
So
No
your
one loved
very first gig was in front of 200 people?
No, it was like probably,
Oh, it was at the Heats, sorry.
yeah, maybe
of the
like
hits.
100.
Fuck.
Yeah. It was so fucking bad. But I knew it was bad. And also I was like, oh, that's my favorite thing I've ever done. Despite knowing it was really fucking bad.
Isn't that amazing? My first
Yeah.
gig was in Richmond. I cried because I died. I walked home
See,
from
you're right, because
Richmond.
I didn't cry.
Yeah, I'm very like...
Yeah.
I cry a lot. Movies, all that shit, you know?
That's great.
I walked all the way home, and the next day, my dad goes, "How'd you go?" And I went, "I fucking died." And he goes, "You gonna do it again?" And I went, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And that's when I knew, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm hooked. And I stopped for 3 months once,
Yeah.
and I think that was the try before you buy period.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I committed after 3 months, and I go, I'll keep doing this till the day I cannot.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it will become therapy, like a mixture of like Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Jamal, like all my favorite acts. Like treat the stage as therapy, treat the stage as punchlines. A lot of people go, you should only get up on stage and do comedy. I'm not really like that. I will get up and just say what's on my
I'll
mind.
do poetry.
Yeah,
I'll do
I will.
a play.
Until I got my mushroom bit down pat.
Yeah,
I was
right.
at Dumpster Fire in Coburg just going, fucking mushrooms are the best. I love them. Fuck
Yeah.
alcohol. There was no punchlines. But I had to knead it like a
Yeah,
baker.
yeah,
just
yeah,
get
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit out.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's your process.
That's my process. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, wild. So you cried. I didn't. It's not a good thing. I have a lot of physical pain in my body, chronic pain, which I'm trying to work through and get, rehabilitate myself
Where's
from
your
that.
physical pain, if I can ask? 'Cause my lower back is cooked.
So it is for years in my back, lower back, upper back, but also like when it gets really bad, my neck, and I have migraines on my left side, and it's built up to getting them weekly, And so the migraines will last for at least a day, but usually like 2 or 3 days.
Migraines.
And yeah. It's like a really, really, really strong headache and neck pain.
My auntie had migraines and she had to
nausea.
lie down and like draw the curtains closed. Like
Yeah. And so, I got put on beta blocker like to block the pain, but it came back. And now I've just got put onto podcast apps that deal with that. They talk about the fact that this chronic pain is actually internal stresses that become pain in your body.
So your pain isn't from a physical activity sustained years ago, like a car accident or a fall?
No.
Right.
And it makes,
Wow.
and it's the first thing I've kind of been doing and reading about, to do with my pain that has ever made sense. Like no doctors or specialists or anything that I've tried has worked or really made sense to me. But this is because like the doctor who kind of started this, I don't want to say movement, but started this research and found these things is like, if you break your arm, then you move your arm and it hurts. Your back, it's not going to hurt in your back or anywhere because that's structural damage. But if you've got, for a lot of chronic pain sufferers, it can hurt in your back, in your neck, in your face, like me, all around. If something's wrong with the structure in your body, it's not going to be like hurting in all these random places. So that's when they talk about, working on internal stresses to, recover from the pain, which is a long process.
So let me get this right. So there's internal stresses that you feel from life, and that manifests itself in physical injury through referred pain in your back.
Well, it's not referred. It's like all pain comes from your brain. So your brain is telling your body to be in pain. Yeah. It's wild. It's
You're really beating yourself up.
Yeah. So that's what you say about like being strong and like not crying and stuff. It's like, yeah, I think I need to cry.
Let that shit out.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, that's my pain history for everyone.
So
no one wants to hear about that.
No, they do. You're taking a holistic approach to.
Well, it's not even like holistic. It's like actually something that makes sense and that. How
long have you been on this path now, and has it worked?
Only about a month.
Okay. Have you seen any signs?
Yeah, I've felt a shift.
Good.
So, but it's going to be, I think it's going to take months for it to be
right. So this
really
isn't
working.
This isn't physical damage. We're not talking about during winter months your bones hurt more than summer.
No. That's why it's never made any sense, especially being like a young person having pain for like over 10 years and stuff. And it's like, why would this make sense?
So you're not, does that mean like, again, stop me if I'm prying, are you not processing your emotions? Are you palming them off to another department in your head?
Yeah.
And it's going, well, if you're not going to deal with this shit, I'm going to bash your bones.
That's part of it. And then also just stuff that happens growing up, like being fearful or traumatic situation. It doesn't have to be trauma, but stuff that really affected you. Haven't really like dealt with that.
What about would talking to a counselor or a psychologist or hypnotherapist help?
I think
to draw that to
therapy,
the surface?
Yeah. Which I've been to therapy in the past, but I need to get back on there. But yeah, I have been to a lot of gigs and performances and stuff in a lot of pain. And there are a couple times where I'm like, oh, I cannot do this gig. I'm so painful. But I generally don't pull out. I go and do it. And then, so that's why people don't, I feel like people will just be like, oh, I can't believe you're in pain. Because I'm always doing shit. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm like, in a lot of pain. But it sucks. Now I'm like having days where I'm just like, I need to stay in bed and I can't do anything. But yeah.
Holy fuck. Well, I'm glad you're a month in and you're seeing some sort of progress.
I think, yeah.
You think so?
Crossed.
Well, fingers crossed, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I just want to be able to, I never want to feel like I have to go and do a gig, but I'm dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my pain was physical. I threw my back out when I was a kid, and ever since then it was fucked. Like, it got to the point where I was like,
But you've always got, it's in your lower back.
lower back.
It always
yeah.
hurts in your lower back.
Always hurts. Summer
See?
is better.
See? But it's always in that same place.
Same
It's
place.
not like, because you've got actual damage there. Yeah.
No, well, you're
Yeah.
getting rocked all over the joint.
Yeah.
That'll drive me. Oh my god, that'll affect your
But that's like what they say at the start is like it's an indicator of if your pain is like coming from internal and it's shifting all around the place.
Yeah.
Whereas if I hurt my back and it's always there, like you,
Yeah.
that's your structure.
Right. So if I got this correct, the end process for you to feel great again is to deal with things and process them and not
Yeah.
palm them off.
Yeah. And the app I'm using, it gives you
Hmm.
heaps and heaps and heaps of exercises. Like some of them are meditation,
Mm.
some of them are brain training to learn about how your brain is causing pain and that it doesn't need to do that. Some of them are writing exercises.
Yeah. What about getting up early and going for a swim? Do you
Nah,
think that? No? Fuck
that will definitely not improve. That will make me worse. That'll give me more migraines. They say that on the app.
Are you serious?
No, I'm kidding.
Because I get I do get this
I think that would help
endorphin rush.
generally my health. Yeah,
You should.
Yeah.
It's a good rush.
7:30.
Well, whenever you wake up, 2 p.m.
Exactly.
Go for a swim.
Yeah,
and you get this.
pool's always open.
Do you do any sort of physical activity? Because it does generate within me a natural endorphin buzz, but I don't go too hard.
Do not.
You do. All right. There you go.
I'm not physically active. I'm not. Yeah. But I want to do that too because it's good for your mind. It's good for you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never realized I was meditating until I sat there. Well, not sat there until I realized, hey, I'm swimming and I'm staring at a fucking black line, and I'm just breathing. In,
I do
out,
like swimming though.
in,
It's
out.
probably my favorite exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swim and I surf because it doesn't put any pressure on my
cool.
lower back.
Yeah.
And eventually I'd love to get back into Bikram yoga, time permitting.
I've done that before.
Bikram yoga is like 40-degree heat and you fold yourself
Now,
up.
I love the heat. I fucking love the heat.
You love the heat.
Yeah.
I fucking love the heat as well.
I love humidity.
Bring it on.
Like,
I'll be retiring to Queensland, I think.
yeah, right.
Just for my
Somewhere
bones'
warm.
sake.
I remember doing Bikram. It's pretty full on. Like, you just sweat so much. I remember being in this one position and I felt sweat run into my eyeball. And I'm like, fucking hell.
You should do a bit about
This
that.
is full on.
Yeah.
And but there's other people there and like older people like fit and like just crushing it. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, you're just fucking marinating in your own sweat
Yep.
for like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It's intense. We've got to go. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Where can we catch you? Do you have a website or anything you want to plug?
I don't have a website.
I'm not going to put this out for a
Fucking
few
hell,
weeks.
Sonia,
but,
jump into the 21st century.
I'll Sonia's at all the big clubs in Melbourne. Just Google the big comedy clubs, you can find her.
Well, you can find me on Instagram,
Yes.
Sonia Diorio, and I sometimes post about my gigs. You can find info about me and upcoming gigs.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Bye.